Oh God.
Got it.
Yeah, I can't do that without your permission, so they have to like tell you.
Ugh.
Fair enough.
Welcome to the inaugural shit show or episode of fuck, I already forgot what the name of it is.
Business Under the Influence.
We're
Business Under the
Influence.
That'll be, dude, I have so much blooper content. It's fucking unreal. I don't know if did you guys see my video, my blooper video
No.
on my social media? Okay, I'll have to show it to you. It's Melinda made it. She's like, I was like, hey, do we need to record a reel? And she's like, I kind of want to do like a blooper reel of all the video content that I've been making. And I was like, yes. So it's like bleep, bleep, bleep. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's funny. Anyway, okay, so welcome to. It's confusing me because my podcast is building better businesses. So like, I'm like,
you're like building under the influence. Fuck, that's not it.
Building business.
Son of a bitch. Building. I literally am gonna have to write it down.
Under the building. God damn it.
Under the Building, the podcast where we talk about the best way to hide bodies.
Ooh, that's like the 1,000 Ways to Die.
We'll save that for the corporate espionage episode.
Yep.
No, that's the allegedly. That's the allegedly podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, here's all the ways to bury bodies allegedly.
And we do it OJ Simpson style. If I did it, this is what I would do.
If I killed someone like this is how I would have done it. Okay. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Business Under the Influence. I wrote Business Under the Business.
Influence Under the Building. Got it.
Do you want one of us to lead off, or do you?
No, I think that was actually because I held it together long enough that she could clip that. Yeah. So welcome, and we are going to introduce ourselves now like real grown-ups. Ben.
All right. So I'm going to introduce David, my good friend here, to the best of my ability. He has 10 years of management experience across various companies and industries. And legend has it that he was once accused of corporate espionage.
So this is our host here, Kristen. She has a lot of experience in making people successful and doing what they want to do, which is actually quite exciting. Fun fact about Kristen that I don't think a lot of people know is she has accidentally gotten into a drug smuggling circle and had to deal with Border Patrol in a weird mishap of adventures. So that's always a fun one to ask her about.
Allegedly.
Oh, allegedly.
Allegedly. None of this is confirmed. The gentleman on my left is Ben, who has a lot of degrees in really fancy things that have to do with math and money and like making things with calculations. That's all I know about it. I tell people that he has an MBA in something and they're like, oh, an MBA. That's all you need to know. Fun fact about Ben, he's actually a master level skydiver and has won 27 different world competitions for his tricks that he does in the air. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So yeah, what are we talking about on this one? You guys had a question, right?
I feel like the important thing is that we should probably explain what we're drinking today.
Oh, yes, that is important. Yeah.
Given that we are doing Business Under the Influence, we are actually doing our best to be under the influence. We let off with Ben. What did you lead off the day with so far?
So I had a beer earlier. Then we did shots of something terrible that had vanilla in it. And now I have some Four Roses that I will be sipping on for the episode because I am a basic bitch and I like flowers.
Yep, that's fair. I am going with a tried and true refreshing summer classic, which is just vodka, soda water, and lemon juice. So that's where we're going. We're going to start off with some doubles, and then we're going to see how this goes. We may kind of have to take it back to half octane.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I did a terrible job. You guys pre-gamed much better than I did. I just had 70% of a Bud Light, but I have more over here, so I'm trying to catch up. I'll be there soon. probably.
Well, it's great
Maybe.
because you're hosting, so now you just have to deal with two of us drunk managing
Yeah,
an episode.
That's right. Yeah, you guys just like wander off screen. I'm like, where did Ben go?
Come back with it.
He's making some tater tots. Yeah.
Got really drunk. He needs pizza rolls. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Yeah, he's fine. We just hear popcorn popping in the background. Like, it's okay. Oh man.
The business,
Yes, I guess
pizza
the
rolls are wild. Sorry, tangent.
dude, they're so good. Yeah.
Right.
What you?
They know their audience. They don't need to change.
Oh yeah, it's toddlers and drunk adults, which are basically the same thing. I don't know if you've done studies on that or not, but yeah, toddlers and drunk adults are the same. Yes. Yeah. Yep. And then cats are kind of like in between both of them. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so the purpose of the podcast, besides drinking, is to just kind of talk about general business topics. We all have a variety of backgrounds and experience, and we'll kind of take turns being smart, probably, about stuff and go from there. Yeah.
Hopefully, allegedly smart.
Yeah, allegedly.
I feel
I
like
think that might be.
So I feel like you see a lot of podcasts about, per my last email or other similar podcasts that are making fun of what it's like to exist in a corporate environment. But there aren't too many that just cover broad business topics that might be helpful to someone who's struggling with this or struggling with that. So maybe we can be a drunk corporate car talk, if you will, and some people can find us useful.
Yeah, or at least entertaining, honestly. Like I care, I think less about the useful and more about the entertaining.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I feel like we should have a liability statement of anything said in these episodes is in fact under the influence.
Disclaimer, we are actually idiots, but we think we're hilarious. So
you have to pay us money to hold us liable, is how that works.
Yeah. Free advice, bro. You're on your own. Yeah. Okay. So what was the topic again? Social media?
Yeah, kind of social media press. The big thing that neither of us have a lot of experience in is social media presence, how to like get a foothold in that social media world, how you sustain a social media presence, and then how you kind of interact with your consumer base, because that's the whole point of social media is instant access to the behind the curtain of a company. So with Wendy's having the very overly aggressive Twitter person, things like that. It's just another strategy for ways for a business to reach their customers. So what does that look like? What goes into that? What do you think about when you're making a social media plan or strategy for a company?
Right. Who needs one and why?
I feel like it's recommended for pretty much anybody that's doing a small business. So I mean, all of my clients are small businesses in the definition of they're either solopreneurs still, or they're 7 figures or something like that, but they have a team of people, but they're still classified as a small business for the most part. It's a pretty small operation. And those types of businesses, I feel like it's most important to show who you are and show the people behind the company. That's why people like, who did you say? Wendy's? Yeah, Wendy's. There's a couple of them. Chipotle does a really good job.
Who's
a lot
the,
of the really
weird
large
meat one?
What?
There's some weird meat one.
Arby's?
No, it's like a frozen meat thing. Anyway, they do a lot of like political commentary, weirdly enough, but they're
interesting. Yeah, those are some good ones, and they like the interactions that they do with each other sometimes are pretty funny. So there's a few of those companies are also really present on TikTok, which is a platform that you can still go viral on fairly easily, depending on the quality of your content. But ultimately, I think any small business should have a social media presence. You don't have to have a presence on all the platforms. That's one of the first things that I tell people is that if they're not already good at like Twitter, don't do Twitter, because that's like a whole beast on its own. Pick one or two that you're somewhat familiar with, or that your particular demographic or audience is going to be on. So depending on who's buying your stuff, that's like the demographic scale. So pretty much everyone in the world is on Facebook, and it has the largest global reach and the largest how to describe it, reach across everyone. So like demographics, income, education, experience, all that stuff, like everyone, 80% of adults I think have Facebook across the world for the most part. So you're talking about just general reach, just do Facebook. It's the one that most people are comfortable with and know. Instagram is another one.
But if I'm doing like catheters, I'm not going to make TikTok videos, probably.
Right. I mean, there's some pretty, like, there's a lot of healthcare providers in various jobs and positions that do TikToks that are pretty funny. There's a couple of vets, like, I mean, vets are because there's cute little animals and stuff, but it also helps if you're a hot vet. I follow a couple of hot vets. Very
yeah,
important.
that's very good that.
Yeah.
What is
hashtag hot vet.
What does making a or what does doing a TikTok mean? I mean, everyone has Instagram, TikTok. We've all watched the reels, but what does it take to make one of those? Is that what you mean by content, or is it just a tweet, or is it a Netflix episode? Like what is content and kind of the behind the scenes of what businesses need to make?
Content, I think, at least in my description of it, it means anything that you're putting on your social media platforms. And then from there, that's where kind of that strategy comes in. Like, what kind of content are we doing? Video is the king as far as algorithms go, like across all platforms. So if you can do video, great. Reels are very popular. And because Facebook just launched Reels like 6 months ago or something, like fairly recently, that's getting some traction to an algorithm. So video is always kind of ranked the highest. And then picture content, written content and stuff. But like Instagram, you have to have a video or a picture with your post. You can't post anything, just words, where you can like on Facebook. But content is, any of the shit that you put on your social media platforms. It's just from there you can strategize.
And what is the goal therein? Like if I was starting an OnlyFans, what am I trying to do with the other content that I'm putting out?
OnlyFans
Asking for a friend.
Yeah. Hashtag asking for a friend.
I'm an accountant.
So that is actually what it's called. Do you know that?
Maybe
on social media. So accounting is
That's
what
the
they call
joke.
sex work on social media. Yeah, it's like legit. So they have to say that they're an accountant or they'll get flagged. So anyone that does any kind of sex work, webcams, OnlyFans, whatever.
God, I would
that's what
feel
they call
so
it.
bad
So-
if we just like released this podcast and ruined that. Like, I mean, everyone's seen something similar, or fake words have been a thing for a long time, since the dawn of the internet. But what if we were the ones that someone at Instagram saw and they were like, fuck, the word's accounting now, and they just banned accounting, and we were those assholes that made that happen?
Well, we're there to
ruin it.
We're going to shift it to hot vet.
Ooh, hot vet.
Hot vet's going to be the new.
What's your career? I'm a hot vet.
Yeah. Hashtag hot vets.
I had to go to school to
So-
be a hot vet. Questionable.
Yeah. What was the original question?
Like, what is your goal with content? When you make content as a small business, what are you trying to do?
So you are trying to drive people to your store, essentially, whatever your store is. If that's an OnlyFans page, if it's an online website where you sell knickknacks and whatnots, or if it's like your website where people can connect with you, like for me being service-based, it's like they can go there. What?
I'm making my drink, so he's just hearing the sound effects of the various things that have been added.
And you also are like coming in and out of focus too, so it's even better. You're like, am I a ghost? No. Anywho, so you're trying to get them to wherever they can purchase whatever the thing is from you, whether that's a brick and mortar or a website or what. It's usually one of those two things, ultimately.
Gotcha. When you make content, does it have to be difficult? Like, do you have to put a lot of effort into it, or what's the average amount of effort? How long do you have to spend putting this out to generate X number of leads?
It takes a lot of time to do, and it just kind of depends on the level that you're at. Like if you're somebody that has a YouTube channel and you're using that as a source to drive people to your systems, programs, whatever they can buy from you, YouTube can take a decent amount of time because you're talking about like a full video production. You can do all this stuff for like super low cost, easy to set up. So you can go to all levels or whatever, but it takes a lot of time because you're having to come up with content. I feel like the part that takes the most time is the thought generation stuff, like writing copy and like coming up with the words and the topics to say. Like to me, that's the work part. And then creating graphics or taking pictures or making videos and stuff doesn't take as much time. It's more about, it takes the time to do that. And then you also have to schedule it or publish it on all the different platforms that you want it to go to. Yeah. So like for me, I just have like a content calendar, and then I have another like spreadsheet that's just like topics, because at one point I was like, it's just so much harder to go, I need to make a video today. And then you're like, cool, well, I'm fucking uninspired, so I don't know what I'm gonna make a video about right now. So I just like content dumped like everything I could think of that was like related to my business, and then I'll go like pick a topic, whatever speaks to me, I guess, on that day, or my admin at this point will do that stuff for me. So she's able to just go look at the list of content that I have and then pick something to make a post out of from there. But
I like to imagine your admin is just locking you in a room with a prompt. Like, all right, it's Thursday at 11. Let's go.
Yep.
We're talking about marketing today. This time you're going to.
That's really not that.
Yeah.
It's pretty close. That's really not far off.
You don't leave until you generate hits. That's it. That's all that's happening.
Yeah. I mean, because we work in the same room, but like she'll assign me tasks and be like, "Hey, I need you to. Could you record some content, please?" I usually do, but sometimes I wiggle my way out of it. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I have to go to a meeting." Yeah,
Super
but that's
important.
it's close.
It's at the bar.
Yeah, very busy,
important.
very important. Yes, I'm busy.
You not hear how loudly I'm clacking my keys to signify how busy I am.
Yeah. Yep. With great fervor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else? What other questions do you have? I mean, I could talk about social media for an hour and a half easily, probably. It's not that exciting.
And that was kind of the goal, because both of us are pretty clueless, and we can just go down these rabbit holes. But for me, what's interesting is, how do you measure what is useful? The internet feels, very nebulous. It's an infinitely huge space with all kinds of shit. You are throwing stuff into this void. There are platforms that help you look at lead generation, like clicks on a certain post, to sales on your Etsy website or whatever it might be. But how do you even start to know if the content you post is valid, and if how many hours a day you're putting into it is worth it?
That's a good question. ROI, so to speak, but like on the effort that you're putting in. So you can look at like any kind of platform, especially if you have a business profile, which you should have if you're trying to market your business. Like some people will say just keep your personal profiles, but I always tell people to do the business version, because then you get analytics. And so you can see when things like which things are getting engagement, which things aren't. Some of them, like Instagram and Facebook, you can actually, I don't know if Facebook does, but I know Instagram for sure. You can see when your followers are on Instagram specifically. So like when they're most active, and you can theoretically strategize the time and everything that you post, or when you post your content. But for the most part, like I try to not get too lost in that. It's more about just like checking the engagement and stuff. And for me, it's like a visual, like I can tell when I'm starting to post content that people are engaging with, because the engagement increases. But if you're looking at it from a sheer numbers standpoint, you want to shoot for like 10% engagement on everything that you're posting for the most part. So if you have 1,000 followers, 10% is 100.
That's math. That's mathematics.
That's math. Boom.
I can only do 10% or times 2. Those are my only.
It's allegedly 100.
So you're either
you're
either a like bad tipper or the most amazing tipper that anyone
I'm a pretty good tipper.
Seen. You're like, I can only do 10% or 2 times the bill. That's it. That's all.
But I can do. No, because I do 10% times 2, and then I make it an even, and then I round up, because I also like an even number. That makes me happy. So if it's like 10%,
school math.
Just 10%, just times 2s.
The way you start interacting with the world is just 10% and times 2s, and you can get to anywhere you need.
Yep.
I mean, look at me. I don't even have a college education. just out here making shit up, buddy.
We don't need your learnings. We got 10% and 2 times 2s.
Exactly. Yeah, people like assume because I'm old that I've like been to college, and I'm like, no, I went the hard way. Like in the game of life, when you can choose which way you go, I went for it. I was like, let's do career, baby. That sounds like a good time.
Was it a good time?
So I got paid for my learning. Yeah, I mean, some of it. Yeah. Some of it, I'm here because I have all that experience, But anyway, so let's see, where were we?
Interactions.
10%. Yeah.
Engagement. We went to the new math. We just made new math. So
yes. Yeah. It's like aliens wear purple hats. That's how you solve math. So 10%, if you have 1,000 followers, 100% or 100 engagements is what you're looking for. So 100 likes, 100 comments, 100 shares total, like 100 of those things, is kind of a good way to gauge what you're looking at. Because sometimes people will pay for followers too, and then it doesn't really do anything for you. It looks like you have a ton of followers, but then you're not getting any engagement because it's either bots or it's people who just don't give a shit about what you're doing. So it's better to have a smaller audience that actually interacts with your shit.
Why would someone pay for followers if they're a business owner? I'm guessing a business owner probably wouldn't be the one paying for followers, but what would be the benefit? Like, what are you projecting if you simply have the followers? Is that an account that's trying to get sold to, like a bot farm or something like that?
Or is it more something where you're like, if I can get the reach out there, I want someone, if they search on Twitter and they search for catheters, which is evidently my newest business venture. So they're searching for catheters. If I have 1.2 million followers, even if only 5 of them are real, then when someone searches for funny Twitter catheter, then my videos are going to pop up first because I have the most followers that are actively engaged with that account. So it's just to kind of get your name out there, which I feel like is valuable if you have a lot of capital and you're doing something weird, but probably not too valuable if you're small business, ? He said with so much confidence.
Yeah. You mean, yeah, I don't know if it was the tone or the question mark that sold me, but you mean like if you have a bunch of followers, like having a lot of followers is the goal? Because you like both said different theories. So which one?
We don't know. That's why we're asking you.
Why do you pay for followers?
Okay, so you're just theorizing, and then I have to correct you idiots on what's actually.
Yeah,
Exactly.
both of us know exactly what the right answer is. That's why we both offered an option and then the wrong option. We figured we'd see what you knew.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, testing my knowledge. Good.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Get over under odds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like the like paying for followers and having a large audience feels like it's a win. So if somebody goes and looks at my pro, because I did it one time too, like I was like, oh, this seems like a good idea, like I'll add some followers to my account, I'll get some extra reach, and then I had like just 2,000 bots. So I've had to go back and like clean them up. So like if somebody just went and looked at my profile, they're like, oh, she has 2,000 followers, that's a decent amount, cool, she seems like she knows what she's talking about. So I think there's an element of that. I don't know about like the extension of reach. I don't think really works, because it's more about the way the algorithms all work is if you get engagement on your content, more people will see your content, and the longer your content will last, because like there's shelf life is a whole thing too. We'll put a pin in that. Somebody write down shelf life.
Clack, 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 clack.
Yeah.
Taking notes.
Got it.
Yeah, so if you have 2,000 followers and only 2 people are interacting with your stuff when you post something, that gets you like nothing. It's the same as having 20 followers and only getting 2 likes. It doesn't really do you any good. It's just kind of like a visual ego stroke, probably. I mean, at least as far as I know. I mean, again, all of this stuff I know I've figured out on my own, like over the last like 5 years. So
followers.
please correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so it's more about the engagement, getting quality engagement, and like 10% is just kind of an easy number. Again, it's one of the only 2 maths that I can do. But it's an easy thing for people to look at. So if they're like, I have 100 followers and every time I do a post, I get 10 interactions, it doesn't feel like a lot, but it actually is a pretty decent number. And if you're consistently getting 10-ish% on your posts, then you know that you're doing a pretty decent job of engaging with the people that are following you. Yeah, sometimes you might get more than that. It just kind of depends, but yeah, engagement, that's the key. That's what makes the algorithms happy.
The other question is there necessarily, for a small business, is there bad engagement? Like some
Like
people,
say you're a Nazi.
Yeah. No, I mean, like on the sense that like some people can just say stupid stuff and it drives the algorithm up and people engage with it a lot, but on like both sides of being like, I support this stupid statement, and also like, F this guy, I'm going to retweet this so people can see what a moron this person is. Is there like, how much of it is you have to make sure you're, I don't know, like if you're sitting at a engagement of, I just want people to see this post, can I say something ridiculous? Is that good for my business, or is it too attached to me for me to get away with that kind of a thing?
I mean, I think it kind of depends on what you're trying to do with your business. So if you're talking about like, let's say political figures or all the douchebags out there who think that they're pretty cool and they'll post like something that's deliberately inflammatory, knowing that it's going to engage either like hell yeah, brother, or you're a fucking idiot. Like what, because then that drives engagement. So as long as that's the type of persona that they want to put out there, whether it's for themselves or for their business, because you're right, it is attached. Like if you're a small business and people know who you are, it's gonna be attached no matter what. So
because my thought is kind of an example, like let's say I'm a veteran hypothetically, and I want to create a thing for veterans. Like I want to make boxer briefs for veterans, and it's like balls out for America. I don't know, I'm spitballing right now. And so that's my company. Like,
sure,
is it a wise move for me to get into like inflammatory?
No, I have it.
Oh,
you know what the brand should be?
What is it?
Thank you for your service.
And so like is it a smart idea for me to wade into like discourses where I am going to be inflammatory because I'm intentionally trying to start controversy, and people would be like, what the who the hell is thank you for your service? And then they like go like, fuck this guy. They go to my website and they're like, wait, breezy boxer briefs made out of stretchy material that wick fabric and et cetera, and
make
like,
coffee,
and they're like it's made out of angel pillows and stuff. Like, my God, I hated this guy, but now I'm here. And then it's links to my YouTube, and then they're like, fuck this guy, I want to see this guy's YouTube. And then I'm like, here's how we ethically source angel pillows for making.
And it's just like you have like kittens, just a bunch of kittens and puppies like behind you.
Like how much is that? Like, is it a very much this is what my brand to be, or is it a like there's no such thing as bad publicity?
Oh, I think there definitely is, but it depends on what the cost is to your business. So I deliberately choose not to discuss my politics or beliefs on religion, any of that kind of stuff, like on my business profiles. And sometimes not even I try not to talk about that in business, because for me, I don't think it's the same. If people want to know and they want to have a conversation about it, then fine. Like I'll make my opinions known elsewhere, but I generally try to keep that stuff separate.
All right, so
some people
2020 election, 3, 2, 1, go.
Wait, what? Oh God, no, that's like a whole different. Nope, don't do it. Don't do it. Anyway, but some people do that, and then they're going to get that half of the fence on their side, and the other half isn't going to be on their side. But in either case, it doesn't matter, red, blue, purple, whatever. Like, if you choose to do that, these people will evangelize for you, and these people will hate you and talk about you, and that does help. Because like you said, like bad publicity is still good publicity technically, but there's still a cost, because then you're putting yourself in a situation like Elon Musk, right? Like he says inflammatory shit sometimes on social media, like he cares, he's the richest man in the fucking galaxy, like whatever. But there's like things like that you may not want to take that risk as a business owner, depending on how you want people to view your business. Like it doesn't,
I'm trying to market to.
If your demographic is red leaning, then that can be like, you just start saying what your political opinion is. If they're aligned with you, then they're gonna go to bat for you.
Or if I'm trying to sell, like I am a kitten costumer and I only costume kittens.
Sold.
So if I'm on Twitter, I'm going to be like, you know what would make a hot dog better? If we actually chopped up dogs to do it. And then people would be like, oh shit. And the dog people would be like, fuck that guy. I'm going to share this with all my dog friends. But like one of the dog people is married to a cat person. They're like, cat costumes, you say? So it's a strategy of kind of what I want my persona to be and who I'm even looking for. And if I can disqualify people I don't care about, but get to more people I do care about.
Correct.
Vodka. That would be good.
So that's exactly the point. Like I would rather be what feels like to me inclusive and open-minded, and I would like to be able to do business with people from wherever they're at. And I don't bring my stuff into it. If people say things that are red flags to me that I might disagree with, then I might find ways to not necessarily work with them, or maybe kind of limit contact a little bit. It just kind of depends. But I really haven't run into that because I don't do that personally. So most people around me don't. We're not talking about politics.
So I know we're talking
like that
in extremes here, and we started out with the obvious extreme of like, can content be inflammatory? But that does raise a good question of a lot of people can be afraid to make content because it could be uncomfortable or cringy. Like it might not be
Oh, yeah.
inflammatory, but me putting myself on camera and throwing that out on the internet, what if I say something stupid? What if I do something dumb?
What if you try and do the floss dance and we're already 2 years past the floss dance?
Ooh, yeah. Like as a small business owner, how do you navigate the world of like, what the fuck is relevant? Oh, can I swear? Is this an
Yeah.
over 21
Oh, yeah.
podcast?
I've
As I
sworn
drink
like
my
6 times.
whiskey?
Yeah.
Over 21. If I've learned anything from television, it's only over 21 gets the swear words.
Kids, stop listening now. I don't know how you made it this far, but like,
Get a parent.
okay,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah, who
if
are
you're
your
like 12 and
parents?
still
Yeah.
interested, keep listening.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll get some entrepreneur advice. Yeah.
But like,
Um,
how as a small business owner do you know what the fuck is relevant and what you should produce, what's okay, or how do you get over that fear hump and just start yeeting things into the void?
Yeeting's a little old, but it's fine. I
Oh,
use
God
yeet all
damn
the
it.
time.
Hang on, let me
Yeah,
do the floss dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your punishment.
Is it full send? I feel like it's probably in Maverick, and in Top Gun Maverick has the latest one, so we need to figure out what they say before.
Yeah,
we launch.
probably.
It's
Well, I
Morbin
mean,
time.
TikTok-
So what if you morph
TikTok is
something
how you
into
know,
the?
Yeah. No, I say yeet, especially when I'm referring to playing golf, because I like to yeet things into the
Yeah.
great blue yonder. So yeah, I think so. The trick for me that I tell people is one, being really clear about what your messaging is and what you're trying to share with the world. Like, what do you want people to know about you and your business? What are the like top 3 things you want everyone to know? And then kind of go from there. And then the second piece of that is being authentic and true to yourself. Because if you're awkward and dorky and cringy, everyone else already knows.
Oh, oh,
Um,
oh my God. I didn't know this was a therapy session.
yeah.
It's not
You're not
imposter
surprising
syndrome if
anyone.
everyone knows everything about
Right.
you.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but on the positive note, that helped me get through the fear hump, as you say, which I don't love, but we'll come back to that.
I feel like that implies something else entirely.
It really
the
does.
fear
Yeah.
gate, the terror threshold,
Yeah, there we go. Let's
Deeply
go terror
uncomfortable.
threshold.
the hell
That's
portal.
I like terror
That's a little
threshold.
better.
Let's go with terror threshold, not
Yeah. Okay. No, we have the same laugh. Stop. Okay. Also, we're related in case we didn't talk about that at the beginning. Our striking
not me, I
genetic
just
characteristics. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Ben's
Fun fact,
just the
might
third.
be a
So
lie, might not.
yeah, maybe. Hashtag fear hump. We've got some real good hashtags from just this first one. Hot vet and fucking fear hump. I'm so excited.
Ugh.
Okay, anyway, where was I? Oh, so doing video content. So like I started my business 6 months before COVID. Yay. I was like, oh fuck, now what? Which there were a lot of people, like I had just started kind of getting out in the local business community, networking a lot. And there were a bunch of us that were like, yeah, we all just started a business like 3 months ago, 6 months ago. And like, now the fuck, what are we supposed to do? But for me, I'm like, okay, I need to do video content because I'm a service-based provider. People need to know me, be able to get to like see how I teach and my style and all that kind of stuff and understand how many fucks I can say in one 30-minute setting. Key piece of information.
Oh yeah.
Like,
okay.
yeah, it's a part of the questionnaire. Anyway, but one of the things that helped me get like comfortable with the video concept is being self-conscious about having extra chins, or all the weird little things that you do. I was like, exactly. Yeah. So that's why girls selfie up. Everyone else already knows. Like
this.
yeah. Well, you have a beard, so you're fine. Problem solved. I can't do that.
I mean, you could.
But yeah, like I could. Anyway, David, was just basically that. I'm like, everybody that I know already knows that I'm shaped the way that I'm shaped, that I talk the way that I talk, that my face does whatever it does, and the little expressions and things that I do. Everyone else I'm the only one that doesn't know. I'm the only one that doesn't see me on a regular basis. Everybody else is already fully aware of whatever it is that I'm self-conscious about. So that was kind of a big moment. Like, And that's what I tell people too. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, people aren't gonna like you, and that's fine. People are gonna really like you, and that's awesome. But just do what you're gonna do. Be you. Hashtag be you. And the people that are your audience that want to connect with you are going to connect with you, and that's how I've done it anyway. Like, the people that do like what I have to offer and appreciate the way that I tell people how to do things, all that kind of, they're like fans, because I'm just me. You just get this shit. This is just there's
Follow.
You're
for these two
welcome.
idiots as well.
Yeah, these fucking guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know, does that answer your question at all?
Yeah. Follow-up question. So
Uh-oh.
if your friends think
I mean, I have a follow-up question of how often do you accidentally say like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell
oh, slam that notification bell.
in your normal everyday conversation?
It's
I never do,
It's
which is
somewhere,
why
it's somewhere over here. Like, subscribe.
Yeah,
Editor,
I always forget. Yeah, I always forget. But I'm also pretty bad at asking for the sale, so that's on brand.
Oh, yeah, well, that'll get you.
God, sales techniques.
Well,
that's a whole nother episode. So I did.
Yeah, I wouldn't say bad, but yeah, go ahead.
I have done door-to-door sales, and
Oh,
that, yeah, it's bad. And the sales
Gross.
techniques you learn, like the tiny shit, placing a pen on the paper, like, oh, so here's a pen for you to sign, and just the social pressure.
I've also found that don't fucking leave is a pretty effective one.
What?
Like, no, like when
Is this a kidnapping?
no, like when you're trying to sell something,
Yeah.
you just don't leave. And then they're just like, it's the same thing like therapists do. Therapists don't talk.
This is not getting better.
yeah.
So if you just don't
Hashtag
talk,
fear
hump. Like therapists don't talk. The whole idea is usually a lot of people can help solve their own problems. They just don't have like the toolbox to do it, but they have all the answers. They just don't, like, they've got the nail and the location of the nail. They just don't have the hammer. And so a lot of times, like, therapists don't talk so that you talk through it. And then you're like, and they're like, oh, what do you think you should do about that? Have you tried this tool of like counting to 10 and then back down again or whatever? And they're like, oh my God, that does help with my punching holes in walls, that type of thing. They don't talk intentionally to have you, because you're a person, you're like, this is a social interaction, I need to be providing something. And so same thing, like sales, on the sales side, if you just don't leave, then like people are like, well, I owe something in this social interaction now. And then you just keep like, yeah, you can just keep saying like, hey, like, how are you feeling about this? And you're like, I'm not really on board. And they're like, okay, cool, let's see what how you're feeling, like any questions, anything like that. And then you're just like, do I owe this person something now? And then you're like lizard brain doing the mathematics of social balancing. You're like, they're trying to cater to my needs, therefore I need to provide them a need they can meet. And then they just keep.
Social
David has a
contract
psychology
is
degree.
yeah.
We should mention. Fun fact, might
That's
be
yeah.
true, might be not.
Yeah. No, but that is true. Like when you're talking like the sales stuff in general, there's so much psychology, especially when people are teaching you those kinds of things, like the little visual cues and like that kind of stuff. I was talking to somebody that had read, I can't remember the chick's name. She teaches that, like specifically sales psychology. Like when servers in restaurants or whatever, if they no, okay. Way to steal my thunder, but no.
Well, one fact, there's a study that
okay.
if servers put a smiley face on
Where's the mute? How do I mute you?
Hold on.
Can I? Yeah, it's great. Perfect.
Yeah, but when servers put a smiley face, they up their tip by 5%. Sorry, I'm very excited about that fun fact. I've been holding it in my pocket for years.
Yeah, you're like, when can I use this? No, but if they say if they repeat the order back, then they get more upsells or something. And then there's also something about like, if they touch the person, they get like 20% more tips or 30% more tips or some shit like that too. So there's those little, like, none of that is fact. You should all fact check all of that shit. But
I do want to talk a little bit about engagement with content you produce. Like, I've taught martial arts for many years. I've done martial arts for many years. Allegedly. And a lot of the things you do to convey information well and get someone to listen to what you're saying is make eye contact, number one, say their name, number two, and like physical contact at the point of correction is what you do in martial arts, like elbow, joint, whatever it might be. But that like engages the person much more than they would if you just like yelled at them across the room. How do you get that same kind of engagement in content? The goal being to convert that person to a customer or a paying customer, really. But what is the structure of content such that they actually listen and don't just start scrolling past?
And kind of as a follow-up on that, like Twitch and things like that, like the live streams have the advantage of being like, thanks 666 Dorkmaster 666, I appreciate your subscription. Like they're giving the immediate dopamine feedback of being like, you've been recognized in something you value and I have recognized your value. How do you do it in like you aren't on the same timeline?
That was
You're
the
checking
tamest
TikTok with your
username.
TikTok. Well, you know,
Yeah.
I'm only 2 in, so we still have a ways to go
What?
before the usernames go out.
All right.
Yeah, there's still time. So it's kind of a combination of two things. So the first thing is to figure out what people will engage with, because if you don't do that, none of the rest of the shit matters. And that's almost always the hardest thing. Like, because I mean, I've been doing my own social media for years at this point in time. And the things that I do know for sure is when I'm vulnerable, or I share like an authentic, like real story, people connect with that more. Whether it's on my personal social media or on my business social media, if I share like some sort of like personal story, then people are like, oh, hey, you know, thanks for sharing. That makes me feel better about myself, blah, blah, blah. Or I didn't know you struggle with that. One of the posts that I got the most interaction on was for mental health, like World Mental Health Awareness Day, I think last year, something like that. I posted about having anxiety, depression, seasonal depression, all that kind of stuff, and posted pictures of me like smiling and doing things. And I was like, this is what this looks like. I struggle with this shit all the time. And people were like, oh my God, like, I had no idea. Like, thank you. That makes me feel better about myself. I also struggle with seasonal depression. It's really rough. Here's some things that I try. I had people reach out to me like and be like, are you okay? Like, if you ever need anything, let me know. And I was like, well, I didn't want people to like talk to me. I'm not like,
What is this
like,
bullshit?
Yeah, I'm also a cat. Like, don't like, okay, I get it. No. But
I came out to walk around the
ultimately-
living room. You fuckers tried to pet me. Stop.
Yeah, don't touch me. Yeah. I was just like, hey, I'm still here. What's up? But I mean, because ultimately the goal was just like, hey, like you're not alone. This is what it looks like. Don't mistake what you see on social media for truth. And that kind of stuff gets more engagement. So I try to like do that sometimes without doing it too much. Because if you're like always, hey, shit sucks, then people don't want to be around you either. Those kinds of things tend to be I get the most interaction. So like I posted a reel of me doing an office tour of my like 11 by 11 office. And I was walking backwards trying to do the video. I was like, oh my God, walking backwards because I'm a dork in real life. And so like people were like, dude, that's amazing. And then the blooper video that I just posted, which is me just saying the F word a bunch and then saying and being like, why are words so fucking hard? Like that one got a bunch of engagement on all the platforms because people are like, dude, it's seriously so hard because creating content is difficult. Because you like try to say words like business under the influence and you just don't have access.
business building better influence.
Business building under the bridge. No.
I want my
Son of a
ringtone
bitch.
to be cuts of you saying fuck like 30 times.
Oh, dude, I could get that shit for you in like 10 seconds.
Okay,
Like, what are you
incredible.
talking about? I'll just be like, hey, Melinda, can you cut me up some fuck words? She'd be like, yep.
I get a call from coworkers on Teams, the middle of the office, just fuck.
Why are words hard at the end of the
Yes. And seriously,
People are
like,
I'm
yeah.
never
that's-
calling Ben
yeah.
again. And he's like, finally, God, this could have been
Thank
an email.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah. I get royalties for that. But yeah, because it's just me being me and like being a nerd and being fine with being a nerd because that's just who I am. And most people are nerds. Like we're all nerds in our own way and everybody doesn't have to just try to be perfect. So anyway, I'm amazing and that's what I was trying to say here. But that's really is like one, getting the engagement. And then once you get the engagement, like making comments and interacting, that's like kind of what you were alluding to as far as like dopamine hit is like, oh, this person acknowledged me. So like I have people who do consistently interact on my stuff and I also like it because it makes me feel good. I'm like, oh, like I have people who comment on most of my stuff or they're in my Facebook group and they interact on a lot of my stuff in there. So it makes me feel good because I'm like, I'm providing value to this person. They relate to the content that I'm sharing and it's helping them grow their business in some way. And then I interact back. So long. There's also
Hashtag
other
fear
tricks
hump.
to that, but that's kind of related to that's like what'd you say, fucker? What'd you say?
Cut it.
Hashtag fear hump.
Going in the ring
Hashtag fear hump. Yep. What did you say, fucker? That should be your text tone.
Yes.
Practice that in the mirror every day.
What a trim it. We need it.
What did you say, fucker? No, that's all. That's my 20 years of
Oh,
leadership. Is like,
that is some
excuse
TikTok
me.
audio.
Yeah.
Which one?
All of it.
Well, I feel like it's one of those like POV you something, and then like you're acting it out, and then it cuts in your audio.
Excuse me.
What did you say, fucker?
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah, I should definitely put that one out there. See, it's always easy. Like other people, it's always easy for like when I'm doing this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, that was fun, but like trying to just sit there and be like, so I need to be funny. I can't be drunk all the time.
Though. It's
yeah.
I mean, a twofold struggle. One is that how do you get over that feeling of like, oh, I just need to put content out there, and then how do you make it entertaining? I mean, I fucking hope we're entertaining, but how do you make it entertaining without it feeling forced? And I feel like one half of that is trusting that you're a dork, and that is alcohol. We do not condone, but
I think engagement under the influence is a great idea.
No, that is Vegas. That is not good.
We're gonna have 8 podcasts. Okay, go on.
But my point is that somebody thinks you're amazing, right?
Right. Oh,
I think that Kristen has done an incredible job with her business. I think that David has had an incredible career, and I wouldn't be doing a podcast with them if I thought they were actually idiots. And so at some point, you got to look around you. And while I will call David an idiot, I wouldn't sit next to him and be like, yeah, that's some good advice, if I actually thought he was an idiot. And if you have friends around you that are willing to get drunk and try and record some dumb shit with you, I'm betting that other people are willing to listen to what you have to say. Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
So, yeah, I think, man, I like grabbed a pen too because I was gonna write down a thought and now it's gone.
I did write down shelf life.
It's like, oh, good job. Yeah, shelf life's a good one. Because it kind of ties into like the engagement stuff too a little bit. But yeah, I think it's just fucking be yourself, man. And like the oh, it came back. Here it is. Found it. They're all just like rattling around in there. You know what I mean? Like
I feel like it's a gumball like machine where you just twist it, something's gonna drop.
Yeah, I'm like, oh wait, nope, that wasn't it. Hold on. Fuck you guys. Now it's gone again.
All right, my bad.
Nope, I got it. It's back. Done is perfect. Just fucking put this shit out there because you're never gonna know if you don't do it. That's actually kind of how I live life. Is hashtag no regrets.
Yeah. No regrets. Not even correctly.
No regrets. No regrets. Regrets. And yeah, if you don't put it out there, then you're never gonna know. And you can't get better at something if you don't try to do the thing. Like martial arts probably took a little bit of practice. I'm just guessing.
Not at all.
Same thing, right? Like, yeah, it was super easy. Just hacha. That's how I do it.
If you just announce the move when you do it, then it works.
Okay, Batman.
Judo chop.
I was going Pink Panther because we got a little Jacques Lucero. Like, judo.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Judo chop. Yeah. But yeah, just do it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter because, like, especially if you're doing a lot of content like I do, like, it's gone in days and people aren't going to remember. So it's also fairly easy to recycle content too. So I think sometimes people get like stuck in the, like, I have to come up with something original every single time. And you don't. Like, you can say the same thing in a different way, but people are going to see your stuff. It takes a while for it to sink in or for it to connect with somebody, and you get new followers and stuff along the way. So just post whatever you're going to fucking post, and then you'll figure shit out as you go, because you'll start to see what people like and what they don't like too.
And I feel like that puts a great point. So I've been listening to this podcast, and so, but they talk about how to love criticism. And I feel like anytime you put yourself out there and you're trying to be successful, you have to know you're going to get your teeth kicked in. Yeah. And like I think the big thing first, like for me, would be something where it'd be like, oh, I'm going to put myself out there. People are going to be like, God, this guy is a moron. And I'll be like, well, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But
it.
I do want to be better. And so like if I get comments, if I put something out there and it had the engagement of like, Jesus Christ, this guy is such a moron. If he would just learn to like maybe pre-screen his jokes with his friends, he would be better. And I'll be like, awesome, cool. I'm going to write my jokes, then I'm going to pre-screen them with my friends, then I'm going to put them out on the TikToks, and that
And
like,
then
and
I'm
so
gonna
now I've
burn your
learned
house
something,
down.
I've gotten
Yeah.
better, and I think, but I can't have gotten that feedback if I didn't put the first thing out there that just sucked so much ass right out the get-go for people to give me that comments. Otherwise, I like if I'm scared like people aren't going to like this, of course people aren't going to like it. You could like spend 15 years perfecting the first YouTube video, and so it'll be like, oh yeah, I'd rather
What a
watch.
douche.
Yeah, what a douche. Like that will be your first
Yeah.
comment always, because
Always.
that's easier than anything else. And so like just put the shit out there. Someone's gonna be like, this guy's a moron and this is why. And you're like, excellent. Now, I mean, I'm a little hurt emotionally, but like the goal to like crave
You're
that, like you want that negative feedback because you're like, cool, this is just something that makes me better at this. And soon I will conquer the social media because people will keep putting shit in my feed that's like, I hate this guy and his stupid bald face. And then I can just get better.
I always think of two things. One is
Your faces.
if anyone's seen the very first season of The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons. Great show. Grew up watching it with my parents.
Never heard
Great
of it.
memories. Sir, this is a Wendy's.
We are being serious here.
But the first season of The Simpsons, you look at the animation, you look at the jokes, and you're like, what the fuck? And that's exactly what it is. They just tried something. And then they kept improving on it. But if you don't start somewhere, if you don't just start putting content out there, that's leads you're not generating. That's traffic you're not generating to your business. That's feedback you're not getting to improve your business on why you're not currently getting leads. If maybe that's your issue, maybe it's not. But you have to start somewhere. The modern equivalent of that, I remember, is the meme of, I don't know, some girl named Carly, but on YouTube, who's like, hi, my name is Carly, and this is my first YouTube video. And it was shit on, absolutely shit on everywhere. And not gonna lie, that girl is my hero because she had zero fucks. Like, you know what? We're gonna put content out there. And the point is that you learn from it, not that is what you do and people hate it. If you stop it, that's what I did, and people hate it, it's not going to evolve. But the point is to let it evolve so that it does start generating leads for your business. So you do start creating content that people want to absorb and share with others.
Yeah. Cause it's like, you're not Tony Robbins out the gate, man. Like he did a bunch of shit and then figured out his rhythm and routine. And he has this particular gift. And then he figured out how to monetize it and then increase the you know what I mean? So like, you're not just like fucking Tony Robbins, like the first day you do something or whoever, like that's just who popped into my head.
Gallagher probably started with potatoes.
What?
Gallagher, the
say?
watermelon guy.
Oh,
yeah, he probably started with
yeah.
potatoes and just didn't quite hit.
I'm so confused.
It's like
fuck.
There's an age gap in between
guy?
some of our.
Oh, I forget that I'm old.
Yeah.
We used to like have to like do the volume on the TV. It's the way that I try to explain it to people because there's like all the things like fail forward, learn from your failures, learn from your mistakes. But I feel like it's more scientific theory and testing a hypothesis over and over again, and then making a change and testing it again and making a change and testing it again. Because it's the whole, what is it? Was it Thomas Edison that did the light bulb? I'm really good at spelling, by the way. Like that's just so you guys know, not geography, not math.
Well, it depends on which fanboys you're trying to upset. So we're gonna get divisive here. So either Thomas Edison made the light bulb, or Thomas Edison stole the light bulb from one of his like interns.
I thought it was George Washington.
Jesus made the light bulb. So anyway, when Jesus Christ landed in Galilee, on
an alien ship,
he was hiding in a horse outside of Troy.
He was like, guys, I have an idea.
Zeus was there.
He plucked it off the top of his head and was like, light bulb, motherfuckers. And then
I feel like this should be another, it's like drunk history, but like we're making up like our whole The
It's all
widget
alleged.
factory.
Yeah, allegedly Jesus made the light bulb. So anyway, so
What was it?
Thomas Edison stole the light bulb from Jesus. Continue your
Okay,
point.
that was a huge mistake.
But how many
Anyway.
times did he have to steal that light bulb from Jesus before it worked?
10,000 times, allegedly.
Allegedly.
I mean, that's the quote. But you know what I mean? Like, you don't just you don't create shit without trying other shit. Michael Jordan didn't become Michael Jordan the first time he walked out on the court. He actually had to practice more and play harder than other people to get as good as he was, because he wasn't naturally as good as everyone else at the beginning. So like, you can't just be like, my first YouTube video is going to go viral, or my first social media post is going to go viral. I mean, sometimes people do, but they've also probably tried a fuck ton of other things before they've ever done that one. Like, that one maybe went overnight, but like my buddy, Tanner, he owns digital marketing, not digital marketing. Hold on. Words are hard. Fan the Flame. He does brand identity design. And we've worked together on stuff a lot of times in the past. Like, we've been knowing each other for like years, but he just started doing TikTok because he's like, I need to like put myself out there on social media. I don't really like doing Facebook or Instagram, but I'm comfortable doing video, because he does video. So a motherfucker goes viral on his first TikTok video. Okay. Like, I think 150,000 views, and I don't even know how many likes at this point. I'd have to look, but it was fucking nuts. He's like, dude, I was not prepared for this. But he's also been doing this shit for years. Like, he's been an entrepreneur for at least a decade. He's tried dozens of different types of businesses and done bunches of different things. And because he was being authentic and being true to himself, this is the one that just kind of went off, and it connected with people. It was like, because that's some of the things you just don't know until you start putting shit out there. People really liked the content that he shared. It was like explaining logo design and what's important and what's not important. So some people were very passionate about disagreeing with him, which still helps his engagement. But then other people were like, oh, this is really cool to watch. This is really satisfying. This is really interesting. And then he started getting clients from it. So, you know what I mean? Like, you got to just try shit and see what works and doesn't work, and you'll figure it out at some point, or you won't.
Like they
But
say, you don't
at least you tried.
Spaghetti's cooked till you throw it at a wall.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. I'm like, let's throw some spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks.
Yep.
Just figure this out as we go. So anyway, done is perfect. Just start fucking doing shit, man.
Yeah, what's the saying?
For you, both of you.
Perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah, something like that. There's a bunch of different variations of that.
We're going to talk about that in quality control and process operations in a later episode, for sure.
Oh, yes.
Perfection.
Oh yeah.
The difference between quality metrics and done metrics is...
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. Anyway,
not marketing will be in a later episode, so keep listening is my plug.
That's how you hook them. Yep.
Yeah.
Be more drunk.
Hold on, quality.
Yeah, if you've made it this far,
versus
then
metrics.
Mhm. Nailed it.
I really
the other thing I wrote down to what? No, go.
Sorry, I really want our outro for this video to be that YouTube video of Carly starting her first YouTube video, just doing. It's incredible.
I think we might be able to make that happen. Yeah.
It's public domain. We'll also talk about intellectual property.
Oh yeah.
What's kosher and what's not kosher.
That's a good one. I like when he goes blurry. That's better.
Info.
Yeah.
Oh, can I control the focus?
Anywho, the other thing that I wrote down was you also don't have to take the feedback from people, because people will just talk shit for the sake of talking shit. So it doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to take feedback from people that you think are idiots either. Cause like I learned that in corporate life too, where everyone's got an opinion about you and how you're going to move up the ladder. And at some point I was like, oh, but I don't like you. I don't respect you. I think you're a fucking idiot. So your feedback's no longer valid, sir.
So and I think
that relates to the rest of it.
Yeah. So my question on that is, especially with social media where you don't have a background history, you have like very little contact with the person who is giving you feedback, is how do you kind of determine that? Because there is like, you have the amygdala response whenever you get your, psychology.
Nerd.
So whenever you have your amygdala, your fight or flight kicks in, as soon as someone gives you criticism about who you are as a person, you your ego pretty much just takes over your brain and it's just like, this is how we're driving the ship now. So like the question then becomes like, how in a world where you don't have a history, so if Ben says you're a fucking moron, I'm like, well, good, so are you, so like I don't care. But if I have someone who I work with say you're a fucking moron, I'm like, wait a second, how good are they and how well are they respected in their field when they tell me I'm a moron, versus like, okay, so this person told me I'm a moron. That's fine. They're bad at their job. No one likes them. I'm good to go. I'll ignore that. I can piss them off all day. How do you do that in like a social media world? How do you determine if Bob Jones 6652417125 and like Kelsey 421 Go America, which one of them, like, how do you try and find that line of like, what of this is valid criticism and what is just someone who has accomplished nothing trying to drag everyone else down with them like a crab in a bucket?
So who to not take feedback from is, I mean, it's kind of up to you, because it's like the whole thing is, like you said, like the people that you know, you're like, oh, I trust this person. I find this person to be knowledgeable. I respect their opinion about me and I don't want to be an asshole. So if Ben tells me I'm doing something stupid, I'm probably going to listen. I feel like when you're getting buckets of feedback about things, or like things start to pop up, because I take this approach with like old corporate life stuff too. If you start hearing the same stuff from multiple people, then it's probably something you should either look at or at least be aware of and be like, oh, this is how I'm coming off to people, or I'm maybe not answering questions in the right kind of way, or I'm not providing them what they want. If they're just like, why can't this guy answer a fucking straight question? Like, all I want to know is X, Y, or Z, and he just keeps talking in fucking circles. Like, okay, if you keep getting that same kind of feedback, maybe people aren't providing it to you in the most productive or constructive way because it's the internet and they're a bunch of chicken shits. That's basically up to you. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody's just going to be an asshole and troll you and just like try to tear you down for no particular reason, they just happen to see your content that day and they felt like being a dick, then don't take their feedback. But if it's something that you start to see consistently and you're like, oh, okay, maybe that's something I should address, then address it, or don't. But that's kind of the beauty of it being the internet, because who the fuck cares? Like, they're not a real human, theoretically, right? That's why they're treating you like shit.
Allegedly.
Because they don't feel allegedly, because they don't feel like you're a human, because they feel like they can get on the internet and just be a douche to whoever they want because there's no repercussions. But yeah, so I don't know. That's kind of, I try not to take too much of it. And especially if it's something that's like, if I'm really solid again in like what my mission is, what I'm committed to, what I'm trying to share with the world, it's a lot harder for somebody like that to get to me, because I'm like, no, I'm true to who I am. I'm being authentic and I'm sharing things that I think are important that people need to know, and other people find it helpful and valuable. This person can fuck off. Like, good day.
And I know, like, for me in person, a lot of times it's like emotional investment.
Yes,
where it's like a lot of times, a lot of like in my experience, a lot of managers run into, which is probably like business owners, because you're personally invested in the business that you're working in, is the emotional investment of being like, in the moment, I care a lot about what's happening right now, but outside of this moment, I'm detached. I can take or give whatever I feel, but like, to be authentic in the moment, like, you create the content, you're authentic in your content creation. The YouTube comments come and you're like, the content's already out there. I already did my authentic thing. Now it's time to just be like, that guy's an a-hole, that guy's an a-hole, that guy's an a-hole, that guy's an a-hole. 5 people said this, that goes to this column, that guy's an a-hole, that guy's an a-hole. Yeah, that kind of a similar mindset.
You can also do, like, a lot of celebrities just don't read anything about themselves on the internet. They try really hard to not see what other people say, because that shit gets in your head at some point. So especially when you're talking like celebrity volume, like, that's, yeah, people just, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too old, you're too young, you're too smart, you're too dumb. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, so there's a lot of people that just try not to, like, they won't look at, Brene Brown tries not to look at the shit that people say. And that's someone who you would think would just be like, oh, I'm fine with I'll just let things roll off my back. But she was talking about watching the first, I think it was her first special or something like that. And her husband was like, don't look at the comments, don't do it. And she's like, and I did it. And that ruined me for like however long, because it's just stupid shit. They're like, oh, you're so old or fat or whatever. And it's just, so I don't know. I mean, if you get to that point, then you can do whatever you want because you'll have a team of people managing your shit for you. But yeah, you can look at it or don't, or tell people to fuck off because that's also your choice. That's a strategy. Is if people are assholes to you, you can fucking be an asshole right back. Or you can just be like, God, I'm really sorry that you're having such a tough day and you feel like you needed to take your shit out on me, dick.
And I feel like some of that circles back around to what you were already talking about, which is like the internet has a short memory. You were talking about shelf life.
Oh yeah, nice. Way to bring it full circle.
Put a pin in it.
There we go.
Yeah, that was even better than what we were talking about. So yeah, because shelf life is kind of a thing too. So like when a platform has a lot of people on it and it has a lot of people posting a lot of content, the shelf life is shorter. So like Twitter has the shortest shelf life. So if you post to Twitter, it's there for like an hour and then it's gone. Like if people don't interact with it and keep it moving, then it's gone like in an hour for the most part. Like it's not going to show up on people's feeds anymore because everything else has already like pushed it out, if that makes sense. LinkedIn has the longest shelf life. So there are less people on there. They're on there for a specific purpose. What?
I'm just imagining a bunch of old people in traffic, like doing 50 on the interstate. Like that is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is the social media equivalent.
They're also in the fast lane. Like, yeah.
And no, one of them is going, one of them's going 50 and one of them's going 50.5.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude.
And
that shit sends me.
And then when they hit the quarter panel, this one's like, I got to go faster now.
Yeah.
And so now you just play this game of going down the I-5 out of your mind. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So that's LinkedIn. Got it.
So where were we? Yeah. Anyway, because there are less people on the platform, they're not logged in as often and they post a lot less often. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I was like, oh, are those the right words? Like I've had posts on LinkedIn like keep showing up for weeks. So like if I post something and especially if people are interacting with it, it'll keep showing up for weeks. Like I'll get engagement on it for 3 or 4 weeks at a time, where like something on Facebook or Instagram, the longest I've ever got out of Facebook is like 3 or 4 days on a post and it was consistently getting engagement. So this is like one of the ones I was talking about earlier with the, like if I posted about mental health awareness or something like that, one of the tricks that I do as far as like trying to sustain the length of time that a post is like showing up is I'll post and if it starts getting engagement or whatever, and this actually kind of happened accidentally because I don't have the time to do this very often. So I'll look at all my notifications at once. And so I'll respond to everything all at one time. And then that pushes it out further again. So then like it will show up in more people's feeds again. And then other people will interact and then I'll do the same thing. So like the next night or the next morning, I'll like go in and comment to all of the comments. And that seems to kind of like push it out too. Cause it's like a bunch of engagement happens and then I post a bunch of stuff again and then other people engage again. And so Facebook or whoever is like, oh, it looks like people are really enjoying what Kristen's posting. So we'll push her content out to more people again. So that's kind of the like logic behind it, I guess. But yeah, so shelf life it's a very important concept too, because it really doesn't matter. Like unless you're on LinkedIn, like
it's important. Total newbie perspective. I get like more views equals good is my level of understanding.
Yeah.
But why is shelf life specifically very important?
Mostly because it affects how much content you need to post to stay relevant. So if you're trying to gain a presence on Twitter, Pinterest is also kind of the same. Like you have to post a shit ton of content to like show up. But if you're trying to gain a presence on Twitter, like you got to post like 10 to 15 times a day. Easy. Like that's kind of like, and just be and consistently like throughout the day to keep showing up. And this is true for all platforms too, but like engaging with other people's content is also like that helps you get more of a presence too. Like it's basically virtual networking, right? Like you go to a meeting, you talk to a bunch of people and they're like, oh, they seem interesting. And then you start seeing their stuff show up. Same kind of concept. But if it's a platform like that where there is a lot of content getting put out a lot by a lot of creators, then you also then have to post a lot of shit all the time. So that's one of the reasons why I tell people, I'm like, dude, if you're not already a Twitter person, don't. You're going to drive yourself bonkers because that's like a whole different level. So like Facebook and Instagram, you can post once a day. If you do stories or reels, it helps too. But yeah, and then LinkedIn, you could do like 3 times a week and you're fine, 2 or 3 times. Does that make sense? So it's like the plethora of content. Yeah.
Anecdotally, like a lot of the people I follow on Twitter are people that post like they retweet other people's things with comments, and they also post 3 to 5 of their own a day. Plus they also like they're tweeting out their YouTube video or their TikTok, and like, you know, they're tweeting links to stuff. And so it's like, I didn't think about it in that way, but it is just one of those things where you're like, oh yeah, 100%. Like the people I follow are putting in that many things on Twitter. And the people I follow on Instagram, like I follow a lot of like disc golfers, and they're like, anyway, this is a tournament that came up. This is how the tournament ended. And then you don't see them for a week because they're traveling to the next tournament. And they're like, anyway, here's the next tournament. And you're like, oh, this is a steady stream of content that I would expect from this person. Whereas the people I follow on Twitter, I'm like, what the hell? You haven't posted today. Like, what the?
Are you okay? Yeah.
How are you okay? I don't know what to be angry at yet until you tell me. Like, Jesus, like, get online. I need to know why I'm angry.
So in the context of business, how do you know what's needed? Say, okay, so I'm an OnlyFans again. I am selling David's shoulder. Just this region that's in focus is something people really enjoy.
That's why I keep it covered.
Like, how do I know if I need a Twitter? How do I know if I need to go through the effort of posting 7 times a day, small bits? Or can I post once a week on LinkedIn and be like, yeah, just a little more shoulder every time? Go to the Patreon, go to the OnlyFans. Like, how do you gauge that for your business and what type of business you are?
It's basically just like demographics research, like who are your people and what platform are they on? And it's as simple as that. So like millennials are on most platforms, but it also kind of depends, because like LinkedIn is specifically, its original purpose was to be a networking site for business professionals. So it is a higher educated platform. It is a higher paid platform. Like the people that are on that are generally, it's more of like a what's it called? Like thought leadership. So you're like sharing helpful tips, insight. Like I might be talking about business as a whole, like the economy, like how the economy has affected small business owners, tips, tricks, resources, where to go to get help from the SBA or the payment or the whatever it's called, the PPP, like the COVID relief stuff, like all those kinds of things. But so it just depends. But I don't get as much interaction on LinkedIn, so I just don't post on LinkedIn anymore. I focus my efforts to Facebook and Instagram, and then I will add TikTok here relatively shortly, and YouTube, but it's like a whole nother thing. Because my demographic really is like millennial entrepreneurs who are just fucking around trying to live their best life and trying to run a business that they're hopefully passionate about ultimately. So it's not LinkedIn.
Zoomers entering the market is why the TikTok kind of hits on that side.
Yeah, and I mean, millennials are pretty heavily represented on TikTok too. Like millennial, a little bit of Gen X too, but like everybody, like 13 to 45, give or take.
So in summary, don't
in
post
conclusion,
if you don't want to get stuck in traffic, or do. Maybe you want to have something mildly interesting exist for a mildly long amount of time. But it really
I think we're going to use that for the description. And synopsis. We should just have you create a synopsis at the end of every episode, and that will be the show notes. It'll be
I love it.
In summation. Yeah. Okay, carry on. Sorry. So don't post on LinkedIn.
MBA where it's blah 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 business things. I went to vocabulary school.
Yes.
But
very
it
important.
really depends on what type of business you are and the audience you want to reach, which is stupidly self-explanatory. I feel like an idiot and providing zero value saying that, but there's so much within that. There is decisions of how often you should post, what kind of content you should post. And I feel like you really need to understand your value offering before you can even describe the type of people you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the easy thing is to create a Twitter account for your company. The hard thing is to use that effectively.
Right.
Like, like the people that I reach, do I want to be the a-hole? Do I want to be the all-inclusive? Do I want to be the, I only retweet things that make people feel good? Do I only retweet pictures of otters? Which is great for engagement. Unfortunately, I run a euthanization clinic, so probably not good for my brand. Like, there's a lot of like, it's easy to get into social media. I think it's a lot more difficult to make it effective. And you actually have to, like Ben said, have your goals already set. What is your company? Who do you want to be? and then you create your social media presence to grow your business.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come
'Cause then
first, is what I'm hearing.
No, I mean, it's like anything else, right? Like you could do it and then just like try different shit and figure it out as you go. But it's going to be a lot harder if you don't have that like clarity of messaging behind what you're trying to post and who you're trying to reach. But yeah, is that the end?
I
Are we
mean, I
done?
don't know. I don't do social media. So like, what's an outro? Do we do this and then you say goodbye
Yeah.
to the viewers?
Yeah. So
I'm following David. He
if-
has 10 years of management experience
15.
at 15, and that's what I'm going off of.
yeah, you shouldn't. We should talk about that. Yeah, we'll take that offline. Okay.
That's the outro. We'll take that offline.
Yeah, we'll take that offline. No, I think ultimately, like, if people are still listening at this point, good for them. Like, they've really been through some shit in the last like hour.
Survived
You know what I mean?
a lot.
I mean, like, to
maybe
be honest,
they
if
got
someone's
some
still
nuggets.
here, I would go to the gates of hell with them because
Yeah.
they powered through.
They're
So-
probably our people. Yeah.
Slide into my
They're-
DMs. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Do you
Goes to
have
floss.
DMs? Don't you have to have social media to have DMs though?
Oh,
I got social media.
I mean, like, social anxiety is another episode.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, I'm here for that shit too. Anyway,
I have thoughts.
What?
This is the only thing my degree is in. I'm excited for social anxiety.
Oh, I thought you meant like you had thoughts now that you needed to share.
No, I'm just excited for social anxiety because, like, this is like I actually went to
Okay.
school for this shit.
Oh, okay. So next episode, what are we talking about? Ben, what's your fancy words?
We're going to do a little bit more technical, talking about the business model canvas and what that means for a small business, or otherwise known as a lifestyle business, or a startup, large corporation. What are the components or the puzzle pieces that create a unit of revenue generation, as I'll call it,
What
for now,
So
allegedly.
So what do we need to make money?
That one. What do we
Cool.
need to make money? How do we make money? And who gives us this money? Big brain time.
Tune in for the next one.
Everything is
Everything
terrible.
is terrible. Fucking nailed it.